Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Today inshallah we will complete our study of Surah Yusuf and also complete the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. As we learned when we started this surah, that this one complete surah is about the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and this is his complete story from the start until the end in the full chronological order. And this is probably the only story that came in Quran in its entirety in one complete surah. So before we proceed, like every class, let's look at the action that we took from the last class. There was only one action, and that was we should take precaution and try our best, but at the same time have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this came from the example of Yaqub alayhi salam when he was sending his sons to get the provision from Egypt from Yusuf alayhi salam. So he wanted them to disperse a little bit from and go from different gates. However, he said that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has determined something or any harm to you, then obviously these precautions will not save you versus that. So what we learned from that lesson is that yes, we should take precautions in this world. We should try our best. However, we need to put our trust in Allah, because normally what happens is people, after trying everything, and then they say, okay, fine, now only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us, or only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do, as if this is not the first thing. So the change in mindset that is needed from our side is that we have to have the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, or at the same time, and then you can continue to take precautions or whatever effort that you need to do. So this was the advice of Yaqub alayhi salam to all his sons. Now today, inshallah, we will continue the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and we know what has happened so far. So quickly repeating. So we know that Binyamin, his sibling and his brother, his blood brother from his mother, he wanted to keep him. So Yusuf alayhi salam wanted to keep him with himself when he came with his other brothers to take the provisions. So he put in a drinking utensil or a cup within his, while they were returning and they were taking away the provisions. Yusuf alayhi salam asked his servants who were giving away the goods to put this glass and in the goods of Binyamin. And then when they were about to leave, the people from Yusuf alayhi salam, his guards, they came in, they stopped the caravan, and they said that, you guys have stolen. This was all a plan. So we should not see this, it was not the right thing to do, or maybe it is something that, it was a lie or anything, because we will see that this was a plan from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will go through those ayahs today. So the plot is that Yusuf alayhi salam wants to keep his blood brother Binyamin with him from the caravan, and eventually it will lead them all to get joined together in Egypt, as we will also conclude in the story today, inshallah. So let's continue. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالوا جزاؤه من وجد في رحله فهو جزاؤه. They said its recompense is the one who it is found in his bag, then he will be his recompense. So basically, now the guards stopped them and said, our utensil or our flask is missing, and what should be the recompense for if it is found with you guys? So they said, okay. And they were so sure, the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, they were so sure that they did not have it, they are not carrying it. So they said the recompense should be that the one who with whom it is found, they should be kept. Kadhalika najzi zalimin. Thus do we recompense the wrongdoers. This is how we recompense the wrongdoers, or this is how we punish the wrongdoers. فبدأ بأوقيتهم قبل وعاء أخيه ثم استخرجها من وعاء أخيه. So he began with their bags before the bag of his brother. So Yusuf alayhi salam knew that, they have put in that thing in his brother Binyamin's belongings. So they started to look for all the bags of other brothers. Then he brought it out from the bag of his brother. Then that flask, obviously it came out, that utensil came out from the bag of his brother Binyamin. Kadhalika kidna li Yusufa. Thus we did this for Yusuf. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala planned it for Yusuf alayhi salam. So this was being done under the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, via revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Yusuf alayhi salam. Ma kana liya khuda akhahu fi dinil maliki إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. So basically, he could not have taken his brother by the law of the king except by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because normally he cannot ask anyone to stay. And there is an entire plot that is unfolding, which the plot is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is based on the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Narfa'u darajatim man nasha. We raise in degrees whom we will. We saw how Yusuf alayhi salam came in as a slave and went through all the hardships. And now he is in a very strong position of being a financial minister. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises whom he wills. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps his slaves. وَفَوْقَ وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ alim, but over every possessor of knowledge is the all-knower. So regardless of any knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to anyone, he is the one who is the possessor of all knowledge. So no one in the human beings or any of his creations can become more powerful or more knowledgeable than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives revelations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the giver of knowledge, and whosoever possesses knowledge in this world is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself as well. However, the all-knower, Alimun Hakim, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all-knower and all-wise. قالوا إن يسرق فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. They said, if he steals, then verily stole a brother of his before as well. Now look at the other brothers. Now Binyamin has been caught, and they are saying, now they are trying to distance themselves from him, and they are saying, so he has stolen. If he's the one who has stolen, then we know there was his brother as well who stole. Now remember that this is happening in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. Those guys have not recognized that this is Yusuf alayhi salam, and Yusuf alayhi salam already told Binyamin when he met earlier with him in a meeting that, I'm your brother and don't worry, now our bad days are over. So imagine now they are saying that yes, he also had his brother who was also amongst, he used to steal as well, and they're just saying this, they're making this up. And now imagine how Yusuf alayhi salam has to control. فَأَسَرَّهَا يُوسُفُ فِي نَفْسِهِ وَلَمْ يُبْدِهَا لَهُمْ. But Yusuf kept it secret within himself and did not reveal it to them. So because there is an overall plan that is unfolding, so Yusuf alayhi salam at that point in time showed extreme patience. Although, imagine that you have your brothers in front of you who had thrown you in a well, and now they're coming in and they have your brother, and obviously it's a whole plot, and they're saying to your face that, yes, we had another brother who also used to steal. So these guys are like used to of stealing. So we are not really surprised that he's the one who steals. So imagine the anger that would have been built inside Yusuf alayhi salam, yet he kept it a secret. He kept calm and he did not reveal to them. Qala antum sharrum makana. He said, you are the worst in position. You guys are obviously you are wrongdoers. Wallahu alamu bima tasifun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best of what you describe. So he left the matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in front of them as well, just to shake them a little bit from inside as well. قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا فخذ أحدنا مكانا. They said, O Aziz, indeed he has a father, meaning Binyamin, from whom that utensil was found, because now Yusuf alayhi salam is asking to keep him. And if you recall, they had promised their father that they will bring back Binyamin safe and sound, because Yusuf alayhi salam said, Yaqub alayhi salam said that, don't lose your brother like you previously did Yusuf alayhi salam as well. So now they are saying, oh Aziz, indeed he has a father who is very old. So take one of us in his place. Inna naraka minal muhsinin. Indeed, we see you as one of the good doers. We see you as very kind. So instead of taking him from whom that thing has been found, Binyamin, just take any one of us you like. But please let him go, because he has a father who really cares for him and he's very old and weak. Qala ma'adallahi. He said, Yusuf alayhi salam said, may Allah forbid, or I cannot do it. Allah forbid me. Anna khuda illa ma wajadna mata'ana inda. He said, Allah forbid that we take except the one whom we found our possession with him. So obviously the plan is to keep Binyamin with him and his brother with him. So he's saying that, I cannot take except the one from whom it has come. Inna is al-zalimun, because indeed then I will be amongst the wrongdoers if I do that I found the thing with someone. However, I detain someone else and I let this person go. So this would be a very wrongful act that I do. فَلَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا مِنْهُ خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا. So when they despaired of him, they secluded themselves in private consultation. So what happened is now they tried their best in front of Aziz, who's Yusuf alayhi salam, and now they could not get Binyamin as well. Now they're thinking, okay, now how will we go back to Yaqub alayhi salam and our father, and how will we tell him that we even lost the second brother, which is Binyamin. So now they started to talk amongst themselves, and now this is a private consultation that they are having discussion amongst themselves. Qala kabiruhum. So the eldest one amongst them, he said, Alam ta'lamu anna aba'ukum. Do not you know what your father said? Qad akhadha alaykum mawthiqam min Allahi wa min qablu ma farrattum fi Yusuf. So he said, don't you guys remember that your father had taken upon a promise by Allah, and before that you also failed concerning Yusuf? So one time already you have failed in front of Yaqub alayhi salam, our father. And if we go back to him, Binyamin, I mean, we cannot go back to him like this and say we also lost the second brother Binyamin while we gave him promise by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلَنْ أَبْرَحَ الْأَرْضَ حَتَّى يَأْذَنَ لِي أَبِي أَوْ يَحْكُمَ اللَّهُ لِي. So never will I leave the land until my father permits me or Allah decides for me. Now he is afraid, the eldest one, and he's saying that, I will not go without Binyamin unless my father, or meaning Yaqub alayhi salam, allows him to go back, because I cannot face him, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides something or finds us a solution. وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. He is the best of the judges. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of the judges. At least it seems like they are also God-fearing, and they are, realizing their mistakes as well. Irji'u ila abikum faqulu. So he said, return to your father and tell him, say, Ya abana inna ibnaka saraq. And say, oh our father, indeed your son has stolen. So go back to Yaqub alayhi salam and say that, Binyamin, he has stolen something from the Aziz. وَمَا شَهِدْنَا إِلَّا بِمَا عَلِمْنَا وَمَا كُنَّا لِلْغَيْبِ حَافِظِينَ. And we do not testify except of what we knew, and we were not of the unseen guardian. So basically we are telling you the truth. This is what we have seen from our eyes. He's the one who stole, so that utensil was found from his belongings. And we were really, it's not like we overlooked being his guardians. We did not take care of him. It's not like that we were not caring or enough or guarding him well. It's just that he stole and now he's with us. So just go back and tell your father. وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةَ الَّتِي كُنَّا فِيهَا وَالْعِيرَ الَّتِي أَقْبَلْنَا فِيهَا. And ask the town where we were in. So they said that, father, if you do not believe us, then ask the people of the town. Go there and check with the town we were. So they were their witnesses. And the caravan with which we go. So the people of the caravan, they also know, which we returned in. So the people whom we were returning it, they also saw and witnessed all of this happening in front of their eyes. وَإِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ. And indeed, we are surely saying the truth. So please believe us. Now look at the response of Yaqub alayhi salam to his sons. Now they have reached there, and now they are telling him the entire thing that has happened. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ lakum anfusukum amra. He said, nay, you have enticed your soul something. So he said, no, what you're saying is that, I do not believe you, and your souls again have enticed you. Fasabrun jameel. Again he says, so patience is beautiful. The first time we learned this phrase, fasabrun jameel, was when they missed Yusuf alayhi salam and they put him in the well, and then they came back. At that point in time, again Yaqub alayhi salam said, fasabrun jameel. And here as well, he has no use of Yusuf alayhi salam. He doesn't know the background plot, yet he has full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's saying the patience for me is the most beautiful thing. Asallahu an ya'tiyani bihim jamia. Perhaps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring them to me. So now he's putting his trust to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and saying only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reunite me with my sons, my missing sons. Innahu huwal alimun hakim. Only indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the all-knower. He's all-wise. He knows even if you are speaking the truth or not, and he knows the condition of my heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will rejoin us again. Now, this statement from Yaqub alayhi salam, patience is beautiful, for Sabrul Jameel, has come in the second time. And this is an absolute great example, an inspiring example for all of us from Yaqub alayhi salam. He lost his second beloved son. And he has no news of Yusuf alayhi salam, by the way. He doesn't know what is going on in the background plot. Yet, he is exercising patience in the most beautiful of its form. So he's saying patience is beautiful, and he is putting all his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The action for us from this inspiration of Yaqub alayhi salam is, whenever we are faced with a hardship or challenge, the first thing we have to do is we have to be patient, and we have to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to pray for his help. This is a very, very important action that will help you throughout your life, regardless of how big hardship or how big challenge you face, or how small hardship or small challenge you face. Whenever you are faced with a challenge, or whenever situation seems to be out of your control, by the way, here Yaqub alayhi salam, the situation is out of his control. He cannot see his son. Binyamin is gone. Same at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam as well, when they came back and gave him the news. He couldn't do anything. So what he put his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not like he's reprimanding his sons and saying, no, you guys are the ones, and he's starting to punish or shout at them. He is being patient and trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and praying for his help. So this is an amazing lesson for us on patience. The losing your child, and especially your beloved child, your second child, for the second time, is not easy at all. And we need to remember the fact that he has still not gotten over the fact of Yusuf alayhi salam, his beloved son. And we will see here. وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَا عَلَى يُوسُفَ وَبَيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And he turned away from them and said, alas, my grief over Yusuf. So he started to grieving over Yusuf alayhi salam, and became white his eyes from the grief, and he was a suppressor. So he was suppressing, because when it requires a lot to control yourself, and when you control, you are suppressing your feelings when you have to be patient. And from this, his eyes became white. He couldn't even see, so he became partially blind. And because of continuous crying and his sorrow and sadness overtaking him, he even became partially blind. And out of grief and out of all the suppression of feelings that he was doing, he became in that state out of all the sorrow. قالوا تالله تفتأ تذكر يوسف حتى تكون حرزا أو تكون من الهالكين. Now the brothers, his sons, they said, by Allah, you will not cease remembering Yusuf until you become fatally ill, or you become those who perish. So basically, they're trying to advise their father that you have to get over Yusuf. Look at you have come at old age, you become of old age, you're now older, and if you do not get over him, then you will harm yourself fatally, or you will become really ill, you will become chronically ill, or you will perish, as in you will die as well out of this grief. So now they are trying to tell their father that you need to get over. قال إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله وأعلم من الله ما لا تعملون. He said, only I complain my suffering and my grief to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I know from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you know not. So remember, Yaqub alayhi salam was the prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so he said that I only trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm only showing my suffering and grief to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pray from him. And obviously I know from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you know not. So he is hinting to the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon him. Ya bani yazhabu wa fatahassasu min Yusufa wa akhihi wa la ta'asu mir ruhillah. O my sons, go and inquire about Yusuf and his brother, and do not despair of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he is giving them the instruction that go and try to find Yusuf alayhi salam and his brother Binyamin, and never think that mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be shown to you. So you have to be always positive. Again, this is a lesson for us. Regardless of how difficult a hardship that we face, we can never despair ourselves from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should always remain hopeful. Innahu la ya'asu mir rawhillahi illa al-qawmul kafirun. Indeed, no one despairs the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except the people of the disbelievers. Only disbelievers are the one who say that who will be not expecting the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for in the other way, you can say that believers will never lose hope from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of how tough the circumstances are. We have to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for his mercy all the time and ask for his help. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ قَالُوا. So when they entered upon him, they said, now they came back to Yusuf alayhi salam, Ya ayyuhal azizu, massana wa ahlana zurru wa ji'na bibi'za'atin muzjatin fa'awfi lana al-kayla wa tasaddaq alayna. And they said, O Aziz, has touched us and our family the adversity, and we have come with goods of little value. Now they came back to him, and they were saying that, we have little goods to give you, and this is a big issue that has happened in our family, and we need your help. But pay in full to us the measure and be charitable to us. So what they said is that we have less money. However, we are facing this calamity, and they came back to the Aziz and they said that now we need we have less money, but we need full food or full ration for each of the person that we are carrying. Inna Allah yadzil mutasaddiqeen. Indeed, Allah rewards the charitable. So he said that you are. They said to Yusuf alayhi salam that you are charitable, you are a kind-hearted person. So please just consider this as a charity and give us in full, because a severe calamity has hit us and they didn't have food to eat and take care of themselves. So they came back to Yusuf alayhi salam with little money to ask him to provide them the food provisions. And they are reminding him that you are a kind-hearted person, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards those people who are charitable. قَالَ هَلْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا فَعَلْتُمْ بِيُوسُفَ وَأَخِيهِ إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ. He said, do you know what you did with Yusuf and his brother when you were ignorant? Now Yusuf alayhi salam is revealing the fact that he himself is Yusuf alayhi salam. So now he's reminding his brothers, do you know what you did to Yusuf and his brother? Because they used to be very cruel and oppressed, and eventually we know the story what they did to Yusuf alayhi salam. So now he's trying to remind them. This is the moment that they realize that the Aziz himself is Yusuf alayhi salam. قَالُوا أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ Yusuf. They said, are you indeed? Surely you are Yusuf. قَالَ أَنَا Yusuf. He said, yes, I am Yusuf. وَهَذَا أَخِي. And this is my brother, Binyamin. This is my brother. قَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been gracious alayna to us. قَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ alayna. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been gracious to us, and he has showered his blessings upon us. إِنَّهُ مَن يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And indeed, he who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is patient, then indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let go of the reward of the good doers. So when you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and when you are patient, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of that patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala considers the patience as a good deed. This is something that we need to realize. Whenever we are faced with a hardship and we keep on calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the situation doesn't improve, and we keep on doing patience and showing patience because it is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is considered a good deed. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let go the reward of the good doers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards them with the blessings. And this is what Yusuf alayhi salam now is telling his brothers. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ آثَرَكَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا وَإِن كُنَّا لَخَاطِئِينَ. They said, by Allah, certainly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has preferred you over us, and indeed we have been sinners. Now they realize their mistake. قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. He said, no blame upon you today. Now he has given them mercy and he has pardoned them. يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And he is the most merciful of those who show mercy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the merciful amongst the merciful. There's a beautiful hadith, Sahih Hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, narrated by Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu. I heard Allah's Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, verily, Allah created mercy. The day he created it, he made it into 100 parts. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created mercy and divided it in 100 parts. He withheld with him 99 parts and sent its one part to all his creatures. Now you can imagine the mercy shown by any mother to her child. the mercy shown by animals, all the acts of mercy that are happening around us in this world that we see and we don't see since so many thousands and thousands of years, that is only one part of the mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divided. So imagine, this is something that is unimaginable. The 100 number is just a metaphor for us to understand the countless mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Had a disbeliever known of all the mercy which is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would not have lost hope of entering paradise. And had a believer known of all the punishment which is present with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would not have considered himself safe from the hellfire. So this is a very strong hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is showing us balance. We cannot leave everything and say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful, so let me do whatever and eventually I will enter paradise because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful. No, the other part of the hadith is saying, so a disbeliever, because of Allah's mercy, he would not have lost hope of entering paradise if he knows how merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And had a believer known of all the punishment which is present with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, punishment meaning when all the disbelievers will be thrown in the hellfire, or those who don't follow the guidance will be thrown into a hellfire. So when a believer comes to know about the punishment that is present with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would not have considered himself safe from hellfire. You would always think about, how can I safeguard myself from hellfire because of the severity of that punishment. And when you think about that punishment of hellfire, and when you try your best to save yourself and follow the guidance, this again turns into a mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hellfire and a punishment and the mentions of all of this should be a source for us to take action to correct our lives and not enter into that path that leads us into that punishment. So this is a very, very a strong and a very nice hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that gives really hope to the believers, as well as gives us motivation to protect ourselves from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي يأتي بصيرا. Now Yusuf alayhi salam said, go with this shirt of mine. He gave one of his shirt and cast it over the face of my father. Put this shirt on the face of my father. He will regain his sight. Again, this is one of the miracles of Yusuf alayhi salam. And obviously, how did he get to know that his father is not unable to see? Because obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have revealed it to him. وَأْتُونِي بِأَهْلِكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ, and bring to me your family all together. Now, this is the reunion of the entire family in Egypt, as we discussed it at the start of the story, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed Yusuf alayhi salam and moved him from the toughest of circumstances and gave him the rank in Egypt and raised him to one of the highest ranks, being the financial minister of the Aziz. And now the entire family is coming together. وَلَمَّا فَصَلَتِ الْغَيْرُ قَالَ أَبُوهُمْ إِنِّي لَأَجِدُ رِيحَ يُوسُفَ لَوْلَا أَن تُفَنِّدُونَ. Now look at the connection of Yaqub alayhi salam with Yusuf alayhi salam. And when the caravan departed, their father said, indeed, I find the smell of Yusuf, if not that you think I am of a weakened mind. So now Yaqub alayhi salam started. The moment that caravan left with the shirt of Yusuf alayhi salam, they have not yet reached to Yaqub alayhi salam, but the moment they left, Yaqub alayhi salam started to have the smell of Yusuf alayhi salam. And then, and he said that, I know you guys will think that I am mad after so many years, I can still smell Yusuf alayhi salam and my son Yusuf and all of this. And you guys will think probably I have lost my mind and everything. So the people around him said, he's become an old man, he's grieving him too much. And, and out of grief, maybe he's saying, and he's now hallucinating and all of these things, the other people will say. قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ إِنَّكَ لَفِي ضَلَالِكَ الْقَدِيمِ. They said, by Allah, indeed, you are surely in error out of your old age. So because you have become so old and you're grieving so much, so obviously, we don't smell anything of Yusuf. So how come, you're having that smell? And they said, maybe it's because of your old age and grieving and too much. فَلَمَّا أَنْجَاءَ الْبَشِيرُ أَلْقَاهُ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ فَارْتَدَّ بَصِيرًا. And then when the bearer of the glad tidings arrived, meaning the messenger, that caravan arrived, he cast it over his face, the shirt of Yusuf alayhi salam, and then his eyesight returned. Subhanallah. Qala alam aqul lakum. He said, see, I say this to you. I could smell. So Yaqub alayhi salam said to people around him that, I did tell you guys that I could smell Yusuf. Inni a'lamu min Allahi ma la ta'lamun. Indeed, I know from Allah what you know not. He was a prophet from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Yaqub alayhi salam, and obviously he got the revelation. So he knows a lot from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that other people did not know. قالوا يا أبانا تغفر لنا ذنوبنا إنا كنا خاطئين. They said, "Oh, our father, ask forgiveness for us or for our sins. Indeed, we have been sinners." Now the sons are really repenting and they are asking for forgiveness and they are asking their father to pray for them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال سوف أستغفر lakum rabbi. He said, soon I will ask forgiveness for you from my Lord. Innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Indeed, he is oft forgiving and he is the most merciful. فلما دخلوا على يوسف آوى إليه أبويه وقال ادخلوا مصر إن شاء الله آمنين. Then when they entered upon Yusuf, he took to himself his parents and said, enter Egypt with safety based on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, then with safety, please enter Egypt. And now he is inviting to them and asking his parents to come. وَرَفَعَ أَبَوَيْهِ عَلَى الْعَرْشِ وَخَرُّوا لَهُ سُجَّدًا. And he raised his parents upon the throne and they fell down to him to prostrate. This is just a matter of, showing respect. It's not like, that we prostrate or we do sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just a matter of respect that they are showing him. وَقَالَ يَا أَبَتِي هَذَا تَأْوِيلُ رُؤْيَايَ مِنْ قَبْلِ. And he said, oh my father, this is the interpretation of my dream that I saw before. If you recall the dream, he saw the stars and the sun and the moon prostrating before him, and this is what he told, and this was the start of the story and the start of the surah that we went through. So he said to his father, maybe that this is the interpretation of my dream that I saw. قَدْ جَعَلَهَا رَبِّي حَقًّا. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it true. وَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ بِي إِذْ أَخْرَجَنِي مِنَ السِّجْنِ وَجَاءَ بِكُم مِّنَ الْبَدْوِ مِن بَعْدِ أَن نَزَغَ الشَّيْطَانُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ إِخْوَتِي. Now look at the beautiful speech. And indeed, he was good to me when he took me out of the prison and brought you from the Bedouin life or the life after that. Shaitan has caused discord between me and between my brothers. So this is Yusuf alayhi salam narrating the entire story. Inna Rabbi latiful lima yasha. Indeed, my Lord is most subtle to what he wills. We can never know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. So he has a plot that basically unfolds in front of us. Innahu huwal alimun hakim. Indeed, he is all knower and all wise. Rabbi qad aataytani min al-mulki وَعَلَّمْتَنِي مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. My Lord, indeed, you have given me of the sovereignty, meaning you have given me of the power in this world to be an Aziz and to rule over people and to decide matters, and taught me of the interpretation of the events. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that skill. Look at him. Look at the way of saying. Look at the way of making a speech. He's not saying like, yes, I am the greatest and I made it and I the way usually people do when they're given power. The way he's saying this is he's giving all credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are the one who taught me this interpretation. You are the one who brought me out from a tough situation and everything. Fatir as-samawati wal ard, creator of the heavens and the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anta waliyyi fid dunya wal akhirah. You are the only protector. You are my protector in this world and the hereafter. Tawaffani musliman wa alhiqni bis salihin. Cause me to die as a Muslim, as a person who submits to you, as a person who follows your guidance, and join me with the righteous people, Salihin, those people who are righteous, who are on the right path. Join me with them. He's still praying in his position of power. So this is an amazing lesson from Yusuf alayhi salam for all rulers and people with power, especially when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you respect, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you power. He did not address to the people about how great he is or how he became a ruler from being a slave. Imagine, a story being told today if someone gets to that position, they would say, you know what, when I entered Egypt, I was a slave, and then I made myself up, and this is what I did, and all of these things that generally people do, right? We try to speak in a way as if everything is being everything is as a result of our own effort. However, if you look at the speech of Yusuf alayhi salam, is entirely different. This is a lesson for people who get power and who become rulers. And by the way, soon, I mean, inshallah, when you guys grow up as well, and you will get position of power as well. So he gave all credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sought his protection. So the lesson for us is, inshallah, when you guys grow up, and some of you, I'm not saying that you guys, all of you will become the kings and rulers of the world. Maybe you will, we don't know. However, even when you are given a smaller responsibility, in whatever capacity, you become a manager of a few people, you become you grow up in a company, or you're accountable, even when you're handling a group project within your class, or whatever position of leadership or authority that you get, you have to stay humble. You don't have to say, yeah, I'm the best amongst my friends, so which is why the teacher chose me. Yeah, I'm the best, so I get all the A's and A stars because of, because of I'm so smart and I study so hard and all of these things. This is the wrong attitude. All skills, all capability is given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to only strive. So staying humble is the key, especially when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you power or authority. And at the end, you need to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to die as a Muslim and amongst Salihin, amongst the righteous people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِيهِ إِلَيْكَ. That is from the news of the unseen which we reveal to you. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam has culminated. It has completed. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this news because there was no other source for the Holy Prophet to know all of this. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ أَجْمَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ وَهُمْ يَمْكُرُونَ. And you were not with them when they put together their plan while they were plotting. So he's now saying to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no other way of getting all of this detail other than the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is also an answer to the mushriks of Medina and those who were opposing the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, as well as the Jews and Christians that were there. Sorry, not of Medina, of Makkah, because still this is a Meccan surah. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. And most of the mankind, even though if you desire, will not be believers. So and not most of the mankind, meaning and most of the mankind will not be believers even though you desire. So while the Holy Prophet was getting all of this revelation and he used to really feel sad, and he used to have this extreme feeling of sorrow because he used to see that people are not believing in while he's getting them all the revelation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, most of the mankind will not believe you. So most of the mankind will not be believers. This is again a very important lesson for us. Most of the mankind will not be believers. Who will tell me what is the lesson for us from this one? Yes, Taha, go ahead.
Sir, that we...
Yes. Ahmed, go ahead.
Sir, that we're very lucky to be believers. Islam has been given to us without trying. Like we were listening before to this seerah of Hazrat Salman al-Farsi, so how he became a Muslim, his long journey and everything. So we were born Muslim, so we can't just say, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim, I'm going to go to Jannah. You still have to try to become better. It takes a lot of time, and we're very lucky to be born Muslim.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, Ahmed. And you're right that sometimes we just take it for granted. We are a born Muslim, so we'll go to Jannah. So because here it says most of the mankind will not be believers. This includes people born in the Muslim families, by the way. It's not like you're born in Muslim family, so it's so easy and you will go to Jannah. As Ahmed, you said rightly. Jazakallah khairan. Aziz, your hand is raised. Go ahead. Aziz, you're on mute.
Oh, I was talking with the mute. I was kind of awkward.
No problem. Go ahead.
So most of the mankind will not be believers. So that is another point which I think is that you shouldn't say that the whole world, that no one in the world is like no one is doing what, like, let's say interest. Like you can say that, oh, the whole world is doing interest, so why shouldn't I do it? And because and it says that most of the world won't be believers. So if everyone is doing it, then that does not give you an excuse to do it. It's like if everyone is smoking, or everyone is if everyone is smoking, then you shouldn't. That doesn't mean that you should smoke, because it's still bad. The harmful effects will still come to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Aziz. Jazakallah khair. And this was the point that I also wanted to make, that most of the mankind will not be believers means that majority is almost never right. I cannot say every time majority is not right. Yes, they can be. You can be in a situation where the majority of people are on the right track, but most of the situations, this argument that all the people are doing it, all our my friends are going to this party where music and dancing will happen, or where there will be mixed gatherings, so I need to go as well, and they are also from Muslim family, or all my friends are going to the cinema, they are also from Muslim family, so why can't I go with them? This is not an argument. um, so, and sometimes we say, oh, look at that country, they're also Muslims, but there are so many people who are, doing all of this stuff, so why are we so strict? And a lot of the times people say that, whenever you want to follow the guidance to your parents, mostly when the parents are trying to teach you or something right or wrong, they're like, why are we so strict and everything? Sorry, Taha, your hand was also raised. Is there any additional point from you?
No, I don't have any additional point.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, Jazakumullah khairan to all of you, Ahmed, Aziz, Taha as well. So, um, these arguments don't hold that, all of the people are doing it and majority of my friends are doing it. And look at that, those people, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran is saying to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to all of us that most of the mankind will not be believers. Don't follow people blindly. Don't say that because all of these people are doing it, I am also supposed to do it. This is the biggest whisper or waswasa of shaitan. Most of the mankind and most of the people are doing it. So how can we protect ourselves? The action for us related to this, we have to continuously pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst the few who are on the right path, not the majority who won't be believers, but the few who will be believers. Even though we are born in Muslim family, but as Ahmed said earlier, we have to strive hard. It cannot be, you cannot take it for granted. Yes, I'm in a Muslim family, fine, so I can watch cinema, or I can do this, or I can do some bad things and have some bad jokes, or I can continue taking interest because entire world is taking it. No, we have to be amongst the few. And by the way, from my personal experience, I can tell you that if you try to find out those few people, you will find those few people who will be inspiring for you. In terms of, nobody's perfect, everybody makes mistakes, but you can still get inspiration from a lot of the people who are much better believers than you, and take that as an inspiration and become a better version of yourself. So pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst the few, those who truly believe and follow guidance. Not just that they are believers by chance. They should be believer by choice. There is a difference. Believer by chance means you were born in a Muslim family and you had no control in it. What's your control in being born Muslim, non-Muslim, Jew, Christian, or Hindu, or whatever? So we are all believers by chance. However, we have to become believer by choice. And by choice means you have to make tough choices sometimes in this life. You have to make tough choices to stay on the right path, to let go of all the desires, even that sometimes shaitan whispers in our ears to come out the wrong way. So you have to. It's not easy being a believer by choice and to truly believe. And the only thing that stops you is what we read in the previous Sahih Hadith, that a believer should always think that he about the punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, and he should try his best to protect himself from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is also a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we get on the right path and we follow the guidance. Moving forward, wama tas'aluhum alayhi min ajr, and do not ask for them any reward. In huwa illa dhikrul lil alameen, and it is not but a reminder to the world. So now basically the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not asking for any reward from these people. He's just sharing the guidance to them. He's sharing the revelation to them. So they cannot actually think that, he's doing for some worldly reward. Although they tried to give it to him, we'll make you the chief. We'll marry you with the most beautiful woman of the tribe. We will give you that. We will give you this. But the Holy Prophet did not move, and none of the prophets, none of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we saw all the stories during Surah Hud and now Surah Yusuf as well. They were not after the bounty of this world. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed Yusuf alayhi salam with the ranks and with the power and everything, but he did not seek it with people he did not trade it. In fact, when he was given a choice, he chose prison versus doing for fulfilling the desire with the wife of the Aziz at that point in time. So he chose prison. He made that tough choice. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they should understand, the people who are opposing you, that you are not asking any reward for it. It is just a reminder to the worlds, meaning dhikrul lil alameen, for it is a reminder for the worlds, meaning the jinn and the human beings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So this is they need to get the guidance and follow it. وَكَأَيٍّ مِّنْ آيَاتٍ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهَا وَهُمْ أَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ. And how many of a sign in the heavens and the earth, they pass over it while they are the ones who turn away from them. So basically they move around in this world, still they do not see. All the stories that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating in the Holy Quran, it has already come before as well in front of the Jews and the Christians, although they changed them, but they have seen them. Plus when they pass by, they see all the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we were going through the stories of Ad and Samud and people of the Midian and how they used to carve caves, they are still today present in front of us. So all these things, you see the signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but still you just turn away from them. You just don't even, you ignore them. You don't believe while even seeing them. وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. And most of them do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except while they associate partners with him. So this is about shirk. So majority of the people are doing shirk. It can be direct shirk, meaning worshipping these idols and stones and trees and sun and all of this. Plus it can also be associating partners, meaning that you start trusting someone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a source who will provide you anything. It can be your boss. It can be multiple people in this world whom you feel, he's the one who's providing me. He's the one who's providing me, while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing you. So any attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you give it to any other entity in this world, be it a human being, be it anyone else, then you are doing shirk. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying most of them do not believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and majority of them are associating partners and doing this shirk. So again, the same action for us comes in after this ayah that we just went through earlier, that most of the mankind will not be believers. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the previous ayah, they are doing shirk. So we have to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst the few, those who truly believe and follow his guidance. أَفَأَمِنُوا أَن تَأْتِيَهُمْ غَاشِيَةٌ مِّنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ أَوْ تَأْتِيَهُمُ السَّاعَةُ بَغْتَةً وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Do they then feel secure against that comes to them an overwhelming punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or comes to them the hour, meaning the day of judgment, suddenly while they do not perceive? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grab holds of them, like in the previous stories we saw that most of the nations were so prosperous and they started to do not follow the guidance of the prophet that were sent, and they did all sort of sins. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held them suddenly. The lesson in this for us is very important. Do they then feel secure against what comes to them, which is an overwhelming punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or comes to them the hour suddenly while they do not perceive? Now I have a question. So basically we have to take lesson from this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can suddenly grab hold of us, right? Because whenever we are doing something wrong, we are just enjoying our life, we are not being cautious of what is halal or what is haram and all of this. So the main action for us is don't procrastinate. Who will tell me the meaning of this statement? Don't procrastinate. Yes, Taha, go ahead.
It means not wasting your time and figuring out like, okay, like for example, you're studying and tomorrow is the test. and you start procrastinating that okay, still have a lot of time, but then you suddenly 1 hour left, and then super silent comes. So yeah.
Excellent answer, Taha. Jazakallahu khairan. Brilliant answer. Yes, Aziz, go ahead.
So procrastinating means that what Taha said, like let's say you have work and it's due in an it's due tomorrow, and then it's due the next day. Then you're like, then today you're saying, oh, I won't do it. I'll go to foot. I'll play football with my friends, and I won't do that. And then I'll do the work to come tomorrow. And then tomorrow, then you do it, and you do it right before it's due. Like that is you're at 11:59, and you're doing it at like 11, and then that's procrastinating. But then in this, procrastinating could be that but in an Islamic sense, procrastinating could be that you shouldn't procrastinate your good deeds, because Allah could seize you. Like He could seize you with anything, with bad health. He could seize you with like a disease, and then you won't have enough like strength to do anything, or you could die, and that's the ultimate form of your. I guess
Brilliant
that's the form
answer.
of your assignment being due.
Jazakumullah khairan, both of you, Aziz and Taha. I think you guys said everything that I wanted to say. So we have to start action now because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can seize us anytime. This is a reality. Death is a reality. We can die anytime. But the question that we need to ask ourselves is, are we ready? So today, if we die, are we ready? Do we have a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are we procrastinating all our good deeds? Yeah, I will start praying namaz when I am that age, or I will let go of riba once I build a house, or once I have so many expenses today. So I am still, I need to get this interest because, I have to pay up my bills and expenses and all of these things. Or I will start this, or I will let go. I will let go of watching movies, or, when I'm at old age, I will fix my life and this. But do we have a guarantee of when we will die, when death will seize us? The biggest reality for all of us is death. And now there is no age of death. I mean, you can die any age, any time. So, however, the issue is, even when we know this fact of that we don't have to procrastinate and we have to do action now, start good deeds now and stop good deeds now, still people are not able to do it. Why? Because shaitan whispers there is a still time. This is the biggest deception of shaitan for all the human beings, which is why majority of them are not believers, or truly do not believe, or they do not truly action, because they do not start the action, because shaitan whispers there's still time. Why are you have a long life. I mean, you're only 13, 14, 18, 19 years, maybe 24 years still. I mean, you have a long life. What is the average age? 50, 60, you can, do it. Or just keep on watching the movie. There is still time. And, yes, the prayer, fine. Asr, you have to pray Asr now, but just keep on watching the movie. The time went by, Maghrib came. There's still time. It's okay. Now you already missed a prayer, so might as well miss another one, or and you're still young, and go back and you can ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This whisper of shaitan that there is still time is a killer one for the believer. Because we have to be aware of the fact that, as Aziz also said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can seize us in different ways. We can lose health. So some people delay a lot of the time Hajj because they feel like they do not have enough money, or they have to build a house, or get this car, or wed their daughters, and all of these things. But there is no excuse. Once you have the money, and you have the means, and you can make that journey, you have to make it. And people delay it until they become so weak that they cannot even perform it. By the way, it was fard on them. So it cannot be like, now I'm so weak, so what do I do? No, it was fard on you when you had the health and everything. You had the money, but you did not do it. It's a fard. So there are lots of good actions that people continue to delay because of this whisper of shaitan. Be careful about this whisper of shaitan. Sorry, Aziz, you have a comment? Okay.
Oh, I certainly.
Okay. So we just have 3 ayahs and we are almost on time. So we will inshallah complete on time. Qul hadhihi sabili ad'u ila Allah. Say, this is my way, I invite to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala basiratin ana wa man ittaba'ani. I invite to Allah, I side with whoever and follows me. Wa subhanallahi wa ma ana minal mushrikeen. And glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am not of the polytheist. So this is the way, this is the right way to which the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is inviting all the people of Makkah, and he's facing a lot of oppression from the chiefs of Makkah. And these stories, as we learned when we started Surah Hud as well, these had two objectives. Number one was to reassure the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all his companions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help will come. So stay strong, be patient, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help the believers, and he helps his prophets and messengers and all their companions. The other reason of sharing these stories was for the mushriks and was for the disbelievers who were doing all this oppression and opposition, that take heed, look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives punishment, and what is the right way and what is the wrong way. So وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْقُرَى. We sent not before you, but men we revealed to them from amongst the people of the township. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding that there were so many prophets, so many messengers who came, and they were also given the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to guide the people in the towns and in the places that they came for. أَفَلَمْ يَسِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَيَنْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. So they have not traveled in the earth and see how was the end of those who were before them. Have they not seen all of these signs that are all spread all around them? وَلَدَارُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقُوا. And surely the home of the hereafter is the best for those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because the hereafter is the life that is unlimited, and we are all going through this test of this current life, which will end, and then a new life will begin for us, and that will be never ending. So the reward that you will receive there, the struggle that you do in this life is nothing compared to the reward that you will receive in the hereafter. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Then will you not use reason? Use your intellect, be the people of intellect, use your logic in order to understand what's being told to you. حَتَّى إِذَا اسْتَيْأَسَ الرُّسُلُ وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ قَدْ كُذِبُوا جَاءَهُمْ نَصْرُنَا فَنُجِّيَ مَنْ نَشَاءُ. Until when gave up hope the messengers and thought that they certainly were denied, then came to them our help and was saved. We saved whom we willed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really tests his messengers, and he tested his prophets and their companions as well. And when they really thought that, now what we will do, and they were really stuck, then came Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved whom he willed, meaning those people who were the believers, they were saved. The rest of them got the punishment, as we saw through the stories of the prophets that we went through. وَلَا يُرَدُّ بَأْسُنَا عَنِ الْقَوْمِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. And cannot be repelled our punishment from the people who are criminals. So mujrimeen, the people who are criminals, cannot be saved from our punishment. Last ayah for this surah and for today. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ ibratul li'ulil albab. Verily there is in their stories a lesson for men of understanding, those men who want to understand. There are multiple lessons within these stories that are being told to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he did not have any source to know all of them with such detail. This in itself is telling us that he is the true prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma kana hadithan yuftara walakin tasdiq alladhi bayna yadayhi wa tafsila kulli shay'in wa hudan wa rahmatan liqaumin yu'minun. Verily there is in their stories a lesson for men of understanding. It is not a narration that is invented, but a confirmation of that which was before it, that has already happened. So it's a confirmation of these historical events that are being shared in the Holy Quran, and a detailed explanation of all things, and a guidance and mercy for a people who believe. So those people who take heed, those people who use their intellect, they will get guidance, and this becomes a blessing for them, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sharing. So this marks the end of today's lesson. We will quickly go through 4 actions from this class. Number 1, whenever we are faced with a hardship or challenge, we have to be patient. We have to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pray for his help. We saw this example from Yaqub alayhi salam. He lost his another beloved son second time. So first time was Yusuf alayhi salam, and when he said patience is beautiful, sabrun jameel. And the second time when he lost Binyamin as well, he said patience is beautiful. So this is a great example of patience from Yaqub alayhi salam, especially in a very tough circumstance. So this is a lesson for us as well. Whenever we are faced with a challenge or hardship, we need to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to be patient, and we need to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his help. Staying humble when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you power or authority over people in any big or small capacity. This is a lesson that we got from Yusuf alayhi salam when all his family was combined and he consolidated them, and he gave a very nice speech that is very important for any ruler or person who has any power over people. It can be a big capacity, it can be a small capacity. As we discussed, that you guys inshallah will grow up and you will also lead your careers. Maybe you will join companies, maybe you will start your own businesses and you will have power over people, or maybe you will become kings and rulers in this world as well, or ministers here as well. So you will be responsible for people and you will take responsibility of people. And that is the time when you need to stay humble. You need to realize that all of the skill sets that you have been given are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We saw Yusuf alayhi salam attributing all his success, all his capabilities, interpretation of events, interpretation of dreams, everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not say that, oh, it's my capability, it's my skill set, I have done it and I am now the king and everyone should, listen to me and all. No, he did not say that. What he said was he attributed it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to die as a Muslim and be amongst the Salihin, or the righteous people. The third action, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be amongst the few. We saw this twice today. Twice today we saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that majority of mankind is not amongst the believers, are not the believing people. Those who truly believe and follow guidance.
Don't follow the majority, we should be.
So praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst the few, those who truly believe and follow guidance. Most of the mankind will not be believers, and obviously one of the lessons that we took is that majority of the people around us are not on the right path. So be it our friends, be it the people around us, be it our relatives, we should not follow blindly. I'm not saying that we should start looking at other people as you're not on the right path, no, I'm not saying that. There are many inspiring people whom you can find. You have to always continue to improve yourself. However, this argument that everybody is going to a movie, everybody is going to a party, and everybody is dancing, and everybody is listening to music, everybody is having a mixed gathering, and everybody has girlfriends, and everybody has this, it doesn't hold true. Because we saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly stating that most of mankind will not be believers, which means majority is not always right, and we have to use our intellect to make our own decisions, and to learn from the right inspirations. The few people, we have to find them, and by the way, if you seek for them, you will find them. A lot of people who are better than you in religion, so you can learn from them. Finally, don't procrastinate. Start action now. We may die anytime. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly mentioned that people are caught by surprise. They suddenly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seizes them. Suddenly they be seized. And we know death is a reality. Be a Muslim, non-Muslim, anyone. All of us know death is a reality. It happens to everyone. And that is the end of our test until we can do good deeds or bad deeds. So sometimes, and the issue is that shaitan whispers that there is a still time. You don't need to do it right now. And you can pray later, or you can be a good person, better person later. You can let go of riba once, make your big house and the car that you need, then you can let go of riba and interest and these solutions. Just pay or mortgage away, or take this loan and personal loan and do this, and then later on you can pay off and then ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or just keep on watching this dirty thing and later on you can ask forgiveness. There is still time. I'm just 20, I'm just 18, I'm just 13, I will live for 60, 70, 80, 90 years. Nobody has a guarantee. We know this. There is no age of death. If you don't believe me, then try to visit a graveyard. You will see the graves of this size, literally this size, newborns and little kids and little babies, and you will see them. If you visit the graveyard, you will see. You can even search over the internet. Don't even do visit these days. So you will see small graves. So there is no age of death, and death means end of time and end of the test that we have been given. So overcome the whisper of shaitan. Start the good actions immediately. Stop bad actions immediately, because you don't know when our time will come. and we should not delay actions that are in line with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance. So I hope this is clear. Are there any comments, any feedback from anyone? We are a few minutes over the class. Okay, excellent. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are pure from imperfection and all praise is due to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I seek forgiveness from you and return to you with your full obedience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, we will meet next time, next week, same time.
Assalamu alaikum.